Have you ever experienced the remarkable phenomenon of spending hours pondering a problem, only to sleep on it and wake up in the morning with the perfect solution seemingly appearing out of nowhere? These experiences reflect the profound truth that all the knowledge we need is already within us. Throughout history, extraordinary individuals, visionaries, and luminaries have attributed their success to the development and trust in the insights provided by their awakened third eye, whether consciously or unconsciously. Just imagine the tremendous impact on our lives if we could access our inner wisdom whenever we needed it. As our third eye opens wider, our mental, emotional, and physical well-being thrives. We attract more elevated souls into our lives, and our relationships flourish in all aspects. The clarity bestowed upon us by our activated third eye illuminates the path to success, making it crystal clear and enabling us to manifest abundance effortlessly. With an open and activated third eye, everything falls into perspective. Petty worries fade away, revealing a crystal clear picture of our true life purpose and how to fulfill it. But what exactly is the third eye? The concept of the third eye refers to an inner, intuitive perception or a higher level of consciousness beyond ordinary sight. It is often associated with a small, pine cone-shaped gland known as the pineal gland or the pineal body. This gland, situated in the epithalamus, is a crucial part of the endocrine system and plays a significant role in regulating melatonin, a chemical produced by the brain that helps us sleep at night. Beyond its melatonin regulation function, the pineal gland also governs hormone production and maintains our circadian rhythm, which controls our sleep and wake cycles. Despite its importance, the pineal gland remained a mystery until relatively recently. Scientists are still actively studying it, and its complete role and function have yet to be understood. Throughout history, the concept of the third eye has been linked to a symbol of spiritual enlightenment. In yogic philosophy, it is believed that the third eye acts as a gateway to the liberation of the soul. Swami Satyananda Saraswati referred to it as the eye of intuition and described it as the doorway through which individuals access the astral and psychic realms of consciousness. It is envisioned as a psychic eye situated between our two physical eyes, focusing inward on inner perception rather than outward vision. Interestingly, the notion of the third eye has also been contemplated within scientific circles. The pineal gland has sparked speculation that it may be a vestige of an actual, physical third eye that humans evolved from in the past. This is due to its incredibly small size, measures about 1/3 of an inch in length. It exhibits a reddish-gray color that primarily consists of pineal cells and neuroglia cells. Referred to as the sixth chakra, also known as ajna, it serves as a gateway to our spiritual realm. Over time, both scientific and philosophical schools of thought have come to acknowledge the significance of the pineal gland within our bodies, both in physical and metaphysical contexts. In ancient times, philosophers and scientists had different ideas about the soul and where it resided. Plato and Aristotle believed that there were 3 types of souls and considered the heart as the center of control. They believed the soul was somehow connected to the physical body. But Hippocrates challenged this view and proposed that the soul actually resides within the body, particularly in the brain. According to Hippocrates, the brain is where the emotions and reasoning occur, and the soul acts as the energy source that coordinates various physiological processes in our bodies. Modern neuroscience suggests that the pineal gland, working with the suprachiasmatic nucleus, helps regulate our body's rhythms, contributing to the mystical and energetic associations attributed to the pineal gland. The first explicit mention of the pineal gland can be traced back to Herophilus, who described it as the location of the soul, calling it the kalamos. Galen provided a detailed description of the pineal gland in his work De Anatomics Administrationibus. He believed that the soul flows as air from the lungs to the heart and then to the brain, with the pineal gland acting as a valve-like mechanism controlling the airflow in the brain. The significance of the pineal gland as a center of the soul reached its peak during the time of St. Thomas Aquinas, who presented his theory of 3 cells. Later, Descartes and Andreas Vesalius, considered the father of modern autonomy, also proposed that the brain is the center of the soul. Descartes, in his book The Passion of the Soul, described the pineal gland as the point where the physical and spiritual realms meet, where both influence each other. In yogic philosophy, the energetic system consists of 3 main channels called nadis: Ida, Pingala, and Sushumna. These channels serve as pathways for the vital life force known as prana. circulating throughout the body. The Ajna chakra, associated with the third eye, resides between the eyebrows and is considered the center of intuition, wisdom, and inner vision. Symbolically, the petals of the Ajna chakra bear the letters Ham, representing Shiva, and Cham, representing Shakti. These sacred symbols signify the manifest and unmanifest mind and are often associated with the pineal and pituitary glands. According to Swami Satyananda Saraswati, the pineal gland acts as a regulator for the pituitary gland. When the pineal gland is in a healthy state, it maintains control over the functions of the pituitary gland. However, in many individuals, the pineal gland begins to deteriorate around the ages of 8, 9, or 10. Consequently, the pituitary gland becomes active, releasing hormones that stimulate our sexual consciousness, sensuality, and worldly personality. This phase marks a disconnection from our spiritual heritage. Nonetheless, through yogic techniques such as Tritaka and Shambhavi Mudra, the third eye gazing, it is possible to rejuvenate or preserve the health of the pineal gland. The pituitary gland, known as the master gland, oversees numerous hormonal functions in the body. Located in the hypothalamus of the brain, it also plays a role in regulating our sleep-wake patterns. Hence, the pineal and pituitary glands work in harmony for proper functioning. Imbalances in these glands can result in sleep disruptions and disturbances in our sleep-wake cycles. Therefore, this seemingly small gland holds greater significance in our lives than previously recognized. In addition to its physiological functions, the pineal gland is associated with spiritual contemplation and mystical experiences. Ancient sages and mystics regarded this gland as the gateway to ascension and enlightenment, bridging the realms of the inner and outer worlds and opening a pathway to a higher state of consciousness. Renowned philosopher Descartes referred to the pineal gland as the seat of the soul, although some of his ideas have been challenged by modern science. However, the scientific understanding that melatonin production is partly regulated by the pineal gland lends credibility to the notion that increased melatonin levels can induce transcendent or mystical experiences, even during waking states like meditation, by acting as a psychotropic chemical. The ancient yogis who authored the Vedas in India between 1500 to 500 BC described the physiological and psychic energy pathways within the body, which continue to serve as a map for self-understanding in present times. By activating and strengthening the third eye, we unlock intuition and inner wisdom on our journey towards self-realization. In the realm of yoga philosophy, the third eye holds a significant place as the second-to-last step on the path to complete enlightenment, just before reaching the crown of the head. It is believed that within this region of the brain and body, psychic energy accumulates and flows. When this center is active and open, it enriches our comprehension of life's purpose and enables us to perceive the signs and synchronicities that guide us towards the right path. Throughout history, ancient gurus have professed extraordinary abilities and mystical powers through the awakening of the third eye. Although concrete evidence may be lacking, the scientific community tends to acknowledge the existence of the Ajna chakra, or the third eye. This recognition suggests that we possess a remarkable capacity for visualization, and our minds are receptive to the mysteries of the mystical realm. As our understanding deepens, we come to the realization that the world of appearance acts as a symbolic representation, reflecting profound spiritual principles that manifest in our physical reality. This revelation becomes particularly apparent in those awe-inspiring moments of déjà vu when our thoughts or ideas seemingly materialize before our eyes. With the maturation of our third eye chakra, our thoughts become deeply anchored in a direct inner awareness of reality. Symbolically, the third eye embodies unity and leads us towards cosmic consciousness, divine wisdom, inner knowing, and heightened intuition. It transcends the limitations of the ego and dissolves the notion of duality, opening us up to the concept of oneness. By harnessing the power of this center, we learn to place our trust in the divine while skillfully directing our focus and actively participating in the world around us. This state of being is reflected in our actions, words, and choices, ultimately fostering a more peaceful and harmonious existence. So how can we activate the pineal gland and enhance our lives? Renowned researcher and expert in neuroscience, epigenetics, and spirituality, Dr. Joe Dispensa offers a comprehensive scientific explanation of the activation process. According to Dr. Dispensa, activating the pineal gland involves directing the breath through the body's energy centers and visualizing the energy reaching the top of the head, which then propels the spinal fluid up the spine to the pineal gland. This transformative action shifts the body and mind from a state of survival to one of creation, leading to extraordinary mystical experiences.
When energy begins to interact with those latent systems, and the pineal gland has those little tiny calcite crystals, and they're rhombohedron in shape, and they're stacked up on top of each other. And they're in our pineal glands. Everybody has them in there. And when we do that breath, and we hold our breath, and we begin to contract and pump and pull those intrinsic muscles in, it's the activation of those crystals, because the mechanical stress that we're putting against it as we hold our breath and pump begins to produce what's called a piezoelectric effect. Now mechanical stress is turning into an electrical charge. Now it's electrically activated, so energy is going to move that direction. So then if you do this properly and you begin to electrically activate those crystals, they begin to shimmer like a radio receiver. And if you can suppress the neocortex by dialing down the brain waves into a low level of alpha and even theta, and the person knows how to be conscious in their subconscious mind. And now the antenna's on, now you gotta learn how to use it. You gotta learn how to tune into frequencies and energies.
To incorporate this method into your practice, you can engage in a series of yoga postures. Begin with empty lungs and then perform squeezing the anus while inhaling. Visualize the pumping action propelling the spinal fluid upward through the spine. As the lungs and belly expand, hold the breath and continue the process by contracting the lower belly, solar plexus, heart, throat, passing through the third eye, and reaching the crown of the head. Finally, bring the chin down towards the chest and focus on the spinal fluid within the brain.
Take one slow, steady breath, and as you slowly follow your breath and you contract those intrinsic muscles, as you follow your breath and you bring that breath all the way up to that pineal gland, and you hold your breath and you keep your attention on that pineal gland, that's your target. The act of contracting those muscles, along with the holding of your breath, would begin to push cerebral spinal fluid right up into your brain. And as you begin to hold your breath, you're pushing that cerebral spinal fluid right up against the crystals of the pineal gland and applying a mechanical stress. And then the mechanical stress begins to electrically activate those crystals. And when those crystals become electrically activated, we are turning on the radio receiver in the brain. And now the brain can tune in the frequencies beyond the senses. And that is the mystical gland. And the research says it's a transducer, taking energy and information in one form and turning it into pictures and images, meaning. And that's why it's called the third eye, because you have an inner vision that's more real than the outer world. The brain now is picking up information from the field and it's transducing it into profound imagery, a mystical transcendental moment. And we do the breath. When you finish that breath, I'm going to ask you to finish it right on that pineal gland. That's your target. And once that sympathetic nervous system switches on, there's an arousal. And that energy is not going to be moving out. The sympathetic nervous system is going to merge with the parasympathetic nervous system, and that energy is going to be released up into the brain. And there's a gate at the brain stem called the thalamic gate. And that gate opens wide up. And that energy moves right up to the brain. Now, once the energy makes it to the top of the head, all that energy that was stored in the body, the 95%, is now moving up towards the brain. And as the energy moves up towards the brain, you get a positive charge here and a negative charge here. And you have a positive charge here and a negative charge here. What do you have? A magnet. And all of a sudden, you start producing this external electromagnetic field. And that energy goes right up to the pineal gland, and it signals that pineal gland, and the brain goes into gamma brainwave patterns, and the person is feeling an awakening.
This altered state of heightened consciousness and super-awareness brings about feelings of euphoria, bliss, and lightness. As a domino effect, The activated brain stimulates the pineal gland to release melatonin, an antioxidant that diminishes our survival mode. This suppression leads to relaxation and a decrease in appetite, sex drive, and other earthly desires, allowing us to fully embrace the present moment. While melatonin traditionally regulates sleep and wakefulness, in this activated state, it induces lucid dreaming, enabling us to maintain full cognitive awareness within our dream experiences. These experiences serve to quiet the thinking mind and often give rise to mystical episodes. Ultimately, this process activates the pineal gland, facilitating profound transformation and spiritual awakening. Here are a few additional methods to activate your pineal gland and enhance its function. Engage in regular meditation. Meditation is a popular practice for awakening the third eye and stimulating the pineal gland. It promotes relaxation of the body and mind, enabling us to transcend mundane thoughts and cultivate a happier, healthier life. Research suggests that meditators have higher concentrations of melatonin, potentially because closing the eyes during meditation triggers a perception of darkness in the brain. Explore gazing meditation. Ancient yogic philosophy recommends specific gazing techniques, such as Tritaka meditation, to activate the third eye. Candle gazing is a common practice where one gazes at a flame without blinking for a few minutes and then focuses on the afterimage. Another method involves gazing at specific points, like the tip of the nose or the brow area, known as Shambhavi Mudra. Each gazing point can be practiced for up to 10 minutes. Utilize color visualization. Visualization is another effective way to amplify the power of the pineal gland and activate the third eye center. In yoga philosophy, the Anja chakra, or the third eye, is associated with the color indigo, a deep blue-purple shade. By imagining this color at the space between the brows or deep within the brain where the pineal gland is located, we activate our command center and harness our willpower to overcome obstacles. Adopt a cleansing diet. A balanced and healthy diet is crucial for optimizing pineal gland function. Fluoride, commonly found in water supplies and toothpaste, can calcify the gland and reduce its function. Therefore, a cleansing diet rich in supergreens like spirulina and chlorophyll can help keep the pineal gland active by supporting detoxification and providing essential nutrients. Experiment with sensory deprivation tanks. Since the pineal gland is photosensitive, exposing yourself to sunlight during the day and experiencing total darkness at night contributes to its overall health. If complete darkness is not always feasible, sensory deprivation tanks, also known as float tanks, offer an alternative. These tanks immerse you in water, cutting off all senses and providing a unique experience of weightlessness. As you incorporate these techniques into your routine, you will begin to notice positive changes in your life. Over time, you will develop a deeper understanding of the events unfolding around you, recognize the manifestation of duality in physical reality, and feel a stronger connection to the interconnectedness of all things.